afternoon. The Arts Council for Monterey County welcomes you to our monthly online segment, Artist Spotlight. I am Karen Lee Garcia, Programs Director, and today I am so pleased to welcome the team from YOSAL, Youth Orchestra Salinas. We have Amina Maria Kawaja, Director of Programs and Education, and Dr. Danko Drusko, Music Director, joining us today. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So Amina is a dedicated advocate for providing music education to underserved youth, currently serving as Director of Programs and Education of YOSAL. With a strong passion for educating and mentoring young musicians, she has taught both cello and voice for 2 decades. For the last 10 years, Amina was a teaching artist and for the Los Angeles Philharmonic, the Harmony Project, and the cello chamber music instructor for YOLA, Youth Orchestra Los Angeles, at Expo, whom she coached for their performance with Coldplay at the Super Bowl 50 halftime show. Amina has given master classes at the Grammy Museum in Hollywood, coached for the Pasadena Youth Symphony Orchestra, was a regular staff member at the Pacific Crest Music Festival, and is always open to new opportunities to further the powerful reach of music education. As a cellist and mezzo-soprano, Amina is a versatile artist and has worked on numerous studio recordings and live performances in varying genres of music. She recently joined electronic DJ Alice in Wonderland for 2 sold-out shows at the famed Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado, and supported jazz saxophonist Kamasi Washington at the Hollywood Bowl and the Walt Disney Concert Hall. Amina played cello as a member of Jeff Lynne's ELO for live shows in New York and Los Angeles, and joined headlining acts Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, and Khalid at the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival last year. Amina studied and performed musical theater in San Francisco, improv comedy in Los Angeles, and opera throughout the United States and Europe. Welcome again, Amina.
Thank you.
And born to Croatian parents in Germany, Dr. Drusko is currently music director of Youth Orchestra Salinas, El Sistema USA, Youth Music Monterey County, and instrumental director at York School. He was director of orchestra and opera at the Northern Illinois University School of Music, and is a frequent guest conductor, clinician, and pre-concert lecturer. Drusko has conducted orchestras throughout Europe and North America, such as the Frankfurt Radio Symphony, Frankfurt Opera, Opera Royale de Wallonie, pronouncing that completely wrong, Budapest Operetta, Metropolitan Orchestra Lisbon, Rochester Philharmonic, Naples Philharmonic, and among others. He holds a Doctor of Music degree in orchestra conducting from the Indiana University Jacobs School of Music. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Gosh, it sounds like we're pretty old with all of that stuff in our background.
No, it's so impressive. That's why I said I'm reading the entire biography, both biographies in its entirety, because I am so impressed to be speaking with both of you today. So I shared a lot about you, but now I want to hear how you came to Monterey County.
Sure, you want to take that one?
Sure, yeah. So basically, after I relocated from Chicago, from Northern Illinois University, back to Los Angeles to live with Amina.
We're married.
We're married.
Answer all the questions up front, right?
Yeah.
There was a job opening in Monterey with the Youth Music Monterey County, and it worked out. So we said goodbye to Los Angeles to be in this beautiful area here. And then one thing led to another, yeah. And we ended up with YOSAL, and I'm also teaching at York School. So that was, in a few words, the journey to this area.
A really good journey.
Yeah, we're not sorry to be here at all.
And you landed here just earlier in the year. It wasn't like you've been here for a while. So
just at the beginning of January.
Okay, that's great. And so both of your roles with YOSAL, interested, and I know your audience would be interested, our audience is interested too, to learn, how YOSAL has been impacted by COVID during this time.
Well, immensely. So one of the things about YOSAL is it's an El Sistema-based program, and El Sistema is it came from Venezuela, from a man who started a program there to help the youth who had nothing, basically, and he created an orchestra. And there's a wonderful organization here called El Sistema USA that has brought that model to the United States. So one of the things about El Sistema is that it's through an orchestral setting, it's like a mini society. So it teaches students all of the skills they need and the behaviors to function as a community in the real world. So communication, using their voice and instrument to express themselves, listening to others, all of that. So that's a huge part of our program. And when COVID hit, that's a huge part of it that was at risk for not being able to continue, because our students are really, YOSAL is their community, many of them. So one of the things, obviously we couldn't have classes in person anymore, and it's a 5-day-a-week program. So students who were used to being around their YOSAL community every single day, 15 hours a week, immediately lost that. So we were actually able to get all of our programming back online within about 8 days, I think, after our shutdown in March. For me, the most important thing was to not let the students lose that sense of community, and to make sure that our teaching artists and staff still had work, still had jobs. So,
Right.
So it's affected us a lot, but we've been able to do some really cool things until we're able to be back in person.
Right. Yeah, and that sense of community, like you said, that 15 hours a week that students are together, working on their craft and learning and growing together. It's such a beautiful model that El Sistema, and it's just impressive to hear how quickly you were able to pivot online, because I know that that's something that some people are still struggling with, how to convert their programming. So it's really impressive to hear that you did that within 8 days.
Well, thanks to Amina.
Well, and our wonderful team. Thank you.
And your team, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a learning curve for all of us, and I have a very patient team who has put up with a lot of last minute changes, and hey, we're going to try this now, and I just found out about this program, so let's do it. So
right.
It's really all about flexibility from our teaching artists, our admin staff, our parents, and our students. It's really a team effort.
That's
and it
great.
was from the beginning.
So how do your online classes look now? What kind of changes have been made and adjustments along the way?
Well, so that's interesting. When we first started online, we put everything on the Google Classroom, and our teaching artists were creating content every single day of the week for our students, 5 days a week. So that was all mostly through the Google Classroom. And then students in the summer, we transitioned away from that because that ended up being an enormous amount of work for our teachers. And also we found that students were getting, taxed out. That was a lot for them to do as well. So we shifted things in the summer. Again, it's been a constant growth, constant change and growth. So for the summer, Danko came up with a really wonderful idea to incorporate more people, but in our program, more community members, which I'm sure we'll get to. But one of the things we did in the summer was we got private lessons for every single one of our instrumental students, and actually our younger orchestra students as well. Everyone received a 30-minute private lesson per week. And of course it was all virtual, but they got dedicated time to their own instrument and their own learning.
And
so,
how many students received that at that time?
That was about 150 students.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. So that was a lot of amazing effort on our teaching artist part as well.
Mhm.
And now, since actually this past summer, we had a huge number of applications come in. So we now have over 300 students in the program. And because individual lessons for every single student is not feasible, and in order to keep the program running, we actually have started group classes now. So it's really neat because we do use the Google Classroom as well to post resources and sometimes lessons. But one of the things we've incorporated this semester, is this really cool program called Smart Music. It's a software that we had to purchase licenses for every teaching artist and every single student in order to use it. But it allows the students to see their music online. Teachers have 100 different method books to choose from. They can assign music to the students. The students can then read it on their screen. They get to follow a cursor and a metronome. There's even a tuner on the program, and they can record themselves. Yeah, they can record themselves, and then they turn the assignment in, and the teacher listens to it and gives them feedback on that. And that's actually also allowed us to continue having our ensembles. So we have symphony orchestra rehearsals every Saturday morning, and all of our symphony orchestra students show up. Danko leads them. They go through music on Smart Music, and they have kind of breakout rooms with coaches in different instrument groups. So
that's an amazing program, and actually I've never heard of that, and I need to share that with my daughter's school because she's in right now too. So
cool.
That sounds like a really good program for.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's a really great it sounds really great, and I'm so glad. I don't even know if you knew about that program prior to COVID, or if you just heard about it and just never tapped into it because you didn't have a reason to.
Well, I'd heard of it vaguely. I know a lot of music educators and musicians had heard of it. A good friend of mine is a director of a school of music down in Southern California, and he had shared it with me, and I kind of looked into it and went, oh, that's cool. And then when we started this year and we had so many new students and everything, it was like, okay, we need this. So in addition to that, though, every student meets with their small group class twice a week live via Google Meet. And then they have their ensemble classes either on Friday or Saturday. So they meet in a big group with either their wind ensemble class or their string ensemble class. And then they also have music theory class once a week, as well as music history. So there's a lot going on at YOSAL.
Lots of
yeah.
And the group classes, the important part of that is that they're still doing the social.
They still have that community.
Community. And I'm going to show just a quick image of one of your classes, Google Meet classes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my cello class.
I'm going to speak to that.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see one of the things, at least with the cellos, we're all the cello fam, and I teach the cello classes as well. So that's something that's really important to me, that we tell our students that, like, really it is cello fam, and it's been like that for me at any organization where I've worked, that we have this bond and we all play this instrument. We're all going to go through similar struggles with our instrument and as humans. And so this class right here is our YOSAL Symphony Orchestra group. It's a small group, small but mighty. And they were working on their scales. I think they're learning some shifting. So they're playing in higher positions. So it looks like everyone's happy about it. I'm glad.
Well, what I love too, first thing I saw was just the smiles, just to see that. And they just seem so proud too, so.
And they should be, because this is a struggle for everyone, and especially the students. It's hard sometimes being in a leadership position and you're just thinking, okay, what do I need to do to get this done and to make sure we're doing this, this, and this? And then you got to step back. That's one reason I'm really glad I'm still teaching actively, is that I can step back and go, okay, what are these students going through? What do they actually need? Because I'm not trying to produce world-class cello soloists by online teaching during a pandemic, So it's really it's about a lot more than the music.
Right.
Absolutely.
And music in general that's the power of it, creating functioning community members, human beings.
Exactly. And you did say something similar to that yesterday when we were just preparing for this conversation. You said it's the YOSAL is youth development through music. And I thought that was such a powerful statement, and just really embodied everything that all these programs, are already touching on, but especially during this time, you find, okay, how do we tap into, making sure we're addressing the whole child and everything that they need. So
Yeah, it's true. That's actually one thing I forgot to mention that YOSAL also offers, which is really incredible, is we have counseling available for every single one of our students and their families if they need it. And we have Dr. Bruce Becker. It has been with YOSAL for 9 years now, and he is available 3 days a week for students to meet with whenever they're having any issues. If they have something great they want to share, anything like that, they can make an appointment with him. And then this semester, we've actually added a music therapist as well. And she, Selena Glader, not doctor, but Selena Glader. And she is available to meet with students and help them process emotions and process things through music therapy. So it's a really neat addition to the program.
that's an amazing addition. Actually, I saw that on your website, and Selena lives in my neighborhood. So I was like,
Oh, cool.
I know her.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
She's great. We're so happy to have her on board. And, it's really neat because I don't know of any other programs, I could be wrong, but I don't know of any other programs that offer music therapy counseling for their students. So
I haven't seen it. So I was really like, that's amazing. I'm glad you mentioned it here because I was interested to learn what that looked like.
yeah,
That's
it's really neat. We've just started that, and our students have a sign up sheet online and all of that. So it's pretty neat. And it's very helpful. Our students love Dr. Becker. They've known him for years. And we have to make sure when we're in person, they're not just like leaving rehearsal because they need to go talk to Dr. Becker. That's how much they love him.
That's awesome. So can you tell us, share a little bit about your end of summer performance, and some of the community feedback that you field? And I don't know if this is a good point to stop and share the video, or if you want to talk first and then share the video.
Let's talk first, and then there'll be some context for it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, Danko had a wonderful idea this summer that we should create the Salinas Summer Symphony. And what we did through that is we made our orchestra, we were going to do a virtual orchestra, and we were planning on doing that for YOSAL anyway, but what we decided to do was open it up to the entire community. And we are lucky enough to have a staff member who can do arrangements and another one who does recording technology. And we sort of repurposed what they were doing for YOSAL, and were able to utilize their skills in that. And the staff member that did the arrangements created parts for an excerpt of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, an excerpt of the finale, so that there were 3 different levels, sort of an easy, a medium, and then the real version,
So that anybody literally could participate, whether they're a beginner on a recorder or a professional in the community that just wants to participate.
Right, and we had even our orchestras, that's our 1st through 3rd grade program. We even had xylophone players, playing that Beethoven Fifth Symphony. And it was really neat too, because it allowed our teaching artists to play alongside their students. It allowed community members who are musicians to be featured and to get involved. It's actually how we found Selena Glader, which is really cool through that. And it was just a really cool thing. We had our teachers create videos. So everybody in the community could access one weekly video lesson on the music. So we had our teaching artists make videos that were up on our website, and people could watch and say, okay, so how do I play that one section? And one of our teaching artists basically gave a mini lesson. So then everybody recorded their parts, sent in their videos, and Danko and one of our teaching faculty, the recording technology teacher, they worked many hours
to put it
getting
all
everything
together, to edit it, and so it will be the product that you'll see in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's really
Okay, I'm glad you gave the context first because I did not know that. And when the audience sees this, I can't even imagine how many hours were put into this. I'm going to show them right now.
It
This
was
is
really,
very
it was
impressive.
worth it.
Here we go.
And we had over 100 people participate.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So that means there's more. Is there 100 people in this particular video, or there's a couple?
There are 100 videos. Yeah, there are some. You'll see a couple videos of the same person, but that's because they were playing like the clarinet 1 part or the clarinet 2 part. So they were playing all the different parts in different
Multiple
videos.
parts.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Wow.
One more time.
It wants to play again.
Yeah,
That is so impressive.
it was really neat. It's for 1 minute of music, you would be amazed at how much work it is to put that together.
It really is, yeah.
Plus,
especially with 3 different levels of music.
Yeah, and plus the students themselves. I mean, our summer program was 5 weeks, so everybody had 5 weeks to learn all of that, and that in itself was a feat.
So what was the feedback? What did you hear from your constituents when you posted this this video? It's so amazing.
I think, from what we have sort of learned in our very short time here, that this sort of thing doesn't usually come out of Salinas, that's not a really typical thing to happen here. There's a lot of incredible things there are a lot of incredible things that do come out of Salinas, obviously, but world-class symphony performance is not necessarily one of them. So that was one of the things I think people were really excited about, to see that it was the Salinas Summer Symphony, and it was something specific to this city and this demographic and these people. It's really their own.
And it makes them proud, not only the people that were just watching it and were not participating, but also the students, our kids. It was amazing to be a part of this for them, kind of like a side-by-side concert.
No, it's amazing. And this video, and along with other videos, will be in the Facebook feed. And I do encourage our audience to go and click on it, because I went through and was like watching every single child, multiple times, because it was just an adult, because I was just impressed, like, wait, what are they doing? Thank you for sharing that. And I want you guys to talk a little bit about, because we talked a lot about the shift and the going online, but I do understand you've expanded some of your program offerings, and if you want to share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we wanted to do, so when we started at YOSAL, and when I was sort of rethinking how the structure of things there, one of the things I wanted to give the students was individual classes on their instrument. So that meant we needed to bring on a ton of new teaching artists that taught, oboe specifically, and flute specifically, and cello, and viola, and all
every
of
instrument of the orchestra.
Yeah, because they were doing great work before. They were doing, group lessons, but there's something different when you can really have like a professional musician who plays one instrument teach your students. And that's what I wanted to do. So it was a little bit difficult to find that many musicians and music educators in this area who were available, who had the time to dedicate to YOSAL. So we started to think sort of outside the box. We were already virtual, and we started to go, well, why can't we hire somebody who isn't in this area? And that helped us kind of think bigger. And through that way of thinking, we were able to bring on some really fantastic musicians and educators to our staff, in addition to the local teachers that were already a part of the team. So we have our faculty right now is really like a university level faculty. And this is for, you know, Salinas youth, and El Sistema is really geared toward the at-risk youth and students that are underserved.
Yeah, that's the goal of an El Sistema program, is to offer the best possible education to the students that need it the most.
Right.
Yeah, so we have teaching artists right now, not only, like I said, our local teaching artists who are incredible. We can't wait till we're back in person so our students can be with them in person. But some of the other faculty we've brought in, they play in the United States Navy Band, the Las Vegas Philharmonic, San Diego Symphony, the LA Phil, the San Francisco Opera Orchestra, the earthquake.
It is.
Wow.
That was an earthquake.
That was an earthquake.
Have you ever experienced one?
Nope. First time.
On camera.
Wow.
This is our first earthquake on Facebook Live.
Oh my gosh.
We may feel a few aftershocks. See, we
Honestly.
talked about how we're reaching our tentacles out, and it just was like, let's reverberate that back.
I know.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, it really was.
But we're safe. We're good.
We're good. Hope everybody else is good too.
Hope so too.
Yeah, I think that happened right after I said San Francisco Opera Orchestra.
Yep.
The heavens shook. And also people who have been in the Peace Corps, and it's really, really an incredible staff.
Yeah, that's great. And I've because of this is something that I've been hearing often, is that people have really been, okay, let's expand out a little bit and bring people in from, local communities. You have such a wide network that you're able to bring in people from across the nation. And that's great opportunities, because it fits into what you've said earlier with, not only wanting to make sure the students have a community, but also that teaching artists have opportunities to stay employed. So that's great. And you did mention too about a new choral program, or an expansion of a choral program.
Yeah, so when I started at YOSAL, the choir program was not really happening. The previous program director had done really wonderful things with the choir, and it was mainly, from what I gather, was mainly for the younger students, and they were wonderful. They were doing all kinds of choir, but when he left, the choir program sort of stopped as well. So one of the things that was really important to me, I mean, being a cellist and a singer, I was a cellist first, but I knew always that in order to play your music, you have to be able to sing it. And I've been singing since I was probably 2 years old, much to my older sister's chagrin. But so it wasn't so difficult for me, but I grew up with, peers who just, singing was not something they were ever going to do. They were never going to sing their part. And to be honest, in order to be a good musician, you have to be able to sing your part. So I wanted to give our students the opportunity to develop those skills. So, and younger students, 99% of the time, they love to sing. So I wanted to foster that instead of make them feel uncomfortable about it. So one of the things we do, if you're in 1st through 7th grade, you are in either the Orchestras choir, which is 1st through 3rd grade, or the YOSAL Youth Choir, which is 4th through 7th grade. And Then if 8th through 12th grade is the YOSAL choir, which is optional. The other thing about that was I wanted to give older students who didn't grow up playing an instrument or who didn't know about YOSAL in 1st grade or even 4th grade, who didn't get that opportunity, the chance to still be a part of it and to still be able to make music, because the goal is to have YOSAL choir perform with the YOSAL Symphony Orchestra and do big concerts like that.
Right.
So the YOSAL choir is something that high school students can join, and they don't have to already play an instrument. So the way we were able to do this is actually we hired a choral director who did his doctorate at Indiana University, and he happens to be from Salinas. He just recently moved back here, and
thanks to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Thanks to the pandemic.
Yeah, but we were able to bring him on, and he is teaching. He has hundreds of students in his choirs. I'm sorry, all of our choir faculty, about taking attendance. Very difficult in a Google Meet to take attendance.
Especially in Google Meet, it's a little challenging.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one of the things we brought on for this year and plan on continuing.
That's great. That's awesome. So I want to thank you guys both so much for being here, and now through an earthquake.
I know.
First time for everything on Artist Spotlight. So where can we find you online?
So our website is just yosal.org. That's YOSAL. And our Instagram is YOSAL Music. Same thing. I think Facebook, you can just look up YOSAL or Youth Orchestra of Salinas. Yeah, that's where you can find us. Oh, I wanted to mention one other thing.
Absolutely, please.
We have in the spring, so we started a bunch of new students, obviously, this semester. And the first semester for 4th grade and above, students who never played an instrument before, the first semester was a musicianship class geared toward the instrument they will be playing. So that's what they've been doing right now. And in the spring, we have 88 students starting on an instrument. So if anybody has instrument donations or an old clarinet in the garage that your son who's now in college used to play, we would love to have it.
That's great. And they know where to find you. And you also have a text to donate.
We do.
Please share all of your, share that. I know also you're going to be a part of the launch of MC Gives, which starts tomorrow. So please share all of that right now with the audience.
Sure. Should I put it in the?
We will put it into the Facebook chat, but it's always nice to hear your purposes for MC Gives, and you could just so they can.
Thank you. So you can just go to yosal.org/donate, and that will take you to our online donation platform, or you can text YOSAL, YOSAL, to this phone number. It's 202-858-1233. And you'll get a text back with the link that takes you right to our donation page.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so very much. And I feel I can talk to you, both of you, for like a couple of hours.
The same thing here.
And I know there's even more that's going on with YOSAL right now that we haven't even had an opportunity to touch on. So thank you both again so much. And thank you, everyone that was able to join us live on Facebook, and be sure to comment and share, and also go to the yosal.org website. We will see you next month for Artist Spotlight. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.